GTR News. GTR News. We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good afternoon, it's time for the afternoon news right here on Ghana Talks Radio, and I go by the name Regina Bless. So moving to our headlines. Police arrest 2 military men and 1 other accomplice for robbery. Accra flagged again. This and more stories coming up. Stay tuned.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
The police have arrested 3 military personnel and 1 other accomplice in connection with a robbery incident at Insankana near Amasaman on June 4, 2022. The suspect, 208183G, CPL Yins Blake Gabriel, and Elikem Adams, Esedu Stanley and Malik. Their accomplices were arrested following a police investigation into the robbery. The police report indicates that the 4 suspects scaled a wall into the residence of the complainant and robbed him and his friends of 8 different mobile phones and forcibly made them transfer an amount of 850 Ghana cedis to a registered MTN, no bearing the name Gabriel Yinsblake. Preliminary investigation led to the identification of the 3 military personnel who were arrested by the military police and handed over to the Amasaman District CID. The 2 military suspects have since been cautioned and released to the military police to be reporting periodically while the investigating continues. Meanwhile, their accomplice, Malik, has confessed the crime during interrogation. Accra floods again. So heavy rainfall from yesterday has flooded some parts of Accra, Shukura, the forecourt of National Theatre, Taifa, Ofankor, and many other parts of Accra. Let's go take a watch.
Serious, eh? Wow. Hey, Madagana. So state. Wow. Yeah, some Charlie. All right, cheers.
So as we all saw, it's very bad how Accra gets flooded anytime it rains, and since we are still in the raining season, we are poised to more danger. So we call upon the government and other government officials to take a look at it. So moving to our next story, Ghana card not replacement for biometric passport, Ayorkor says. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Sheila Ayorkor, has said that the Ghana card is not a replacement for the country's biometric passport. According to her, the card could not be used to travel to other countries within or outside ECOWAS. It must be underscored that the passport, together with the travel certificate, is the only approved travel document for Ghanaians that is internationally recognized, the minister added. Ms. Botchwey made this known on the floor of Parliament yesterday in response to questions by the National Democratic Congress Member of Parliament for Salaga South, Mohammed Ibrahima, on whether Ghanaians no longer needed the passport to travel and also whether the Ghana card now represented the Ghanaian passport. So Ms. Botchwey further said her outfit was in discussions with ECOWAS member states and the nation's bilateral partners for the Ghana card to be used as a travel document. Mr. Speaker, at the moment, the Ghana card cannot be used for travels to other countries, either within or outside ECOWAS, as that will require bilateral agreements with the countries for the authorities to accept the card as a travel document, she told the House. So moving to our next story. Afram Plains, Birim North record 3 suspected cases of monkeypox. Afram Plains South and Birim North district in the eastern region have recorded 3 suspected cases of monkeypox diseases. Speaking on Ayorkor-based Agric FM, Richard Essien, the director of health at Afram Plains South District, explained that 2 suspected cases were identified in the district during a community outreach program last Sunday. So according to him, samples have been sent to Accra for testing. He told the host of Agric FM's morning show, Ene Ensubium, Nana Yamreku, that the 2 suspected cases, an adult and a child, live in the same house. He said both have been isolated to private, infecting others. We have put our CHPS compounds and health facilities on alert, so whenever they suspect a case, they draw the attention of the district health directorate. We have had 2 suspected cases in which samples were sent to Accra but yet to receive results, he said. So Richard is saying used the opportunity to advise the general public to avoid eating dead animals when found in the bush and also adhere to the usual COVID-19 protocols. So on their part, the district director of health at Birim North District, Mary Achia, also reviewed her outfit, recorded the first suspected case last week, but awaiting testing results from Nguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. So we're going on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the business and political news. Stay tuned.
Ghana Talks Radio, I wo UK abrochimemu era from Ghana mu ha e the sound system which spinning machine papa every amana ne aba begu o Ghana mu ha. It is say we a year, we engagement, we wedding, we birthday party. Political parties are more rally, some way sorry more crusade. So we book carnival or any kind of event. Now we pay spinning machine papa a boy sound in the mu e de dia any may come for GTR sounds e de emao. Ya wa live band nso a woto nsa e de friend ya yebetimi ababeboa ama udwumedi a wudi ene so atimi aye kama pa. Ya wo enkan poponi mantemo anya aponchi hotel ho pepepe e na yebutuo odi ane se wo be frɛ empanifo e wo 0546 960510 GTR sounds emu de angaza.
This is Ghana Talks Radio, the best station rocking the nation.
Welcome back from the break. If you just joined our live on Ghana Talks Radio, and this is the afternoon. So moving to some business stories. Agric Minister charges banks to support farmers. So the Ministry for Food and Agriculture has charged commercial banks in the country to contribute meaningfully to agriculture by making available credit facilities to farmers. According to the sector minister, Dr. Owusu Efriye Akuto, it was worrying that commercial banks were reluctant in supporting farmers. Ideally, the banks are supposed to provide the farmers with credit facilities to enable them expand production, but that has not been the case. to the extent that the president even held a meeting involving the governor of the Bank of Ghana, myself and all of the managing directors of the banks in the country at the Jubilee House. At the said meeting, I spoke at length about the need for the banks to support the government in the agricultural sector, he added. So the minister, who was passionate about the issue, indicated that in India, for instance, over the last 30 years, it is mandatory for banks to allocate a certain amount of their lending monies to agriculture. Dr. Akoto was addressing the debate of poultry farmers at the Doma Municipal Assembly in the Bono region on Tuesday, June 14, 2022, as part of this working tour in the region. Now, what we need to do is to compel the banks to allocate their resources towards supporting agriculture in the country, he strongly advocated. So moving to our next business story, Bono farmers get praised by Agric Minister for switching to organic fertilizers. Farmers in the Bono region yesterday received gargantuan praises from the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Akoto, for strategically switching to organic fertilizer locally produced instead of striving to purchase the highly scarce and expensive international commodity of inorganic fertilizer, which cannot be found. So the minister was reacting to a data presented by the Bono Regional Director of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Dennis Ebugri Amanga, who made a presentation during a work visit to his region by the Agric Minister, his deputy, and various portfolio directors of the ministry to familiarize with the successes and challenges of agriculture in the region. So the minister was optimistic that the locally manufactured organic fertilizer will give the farmers good yields and even enrich the soil for future usage than the chemical fertilizers. He encouraged the regional and district directors to intensify public education to help shape the minds of the farmers on organic fertilizer. So the regional director, Mr. Ebugri, gave the assurance that the Bono region will not lack food in the ensuing year, as being perpetrated by some members of the public. He requested more extension officials and equipment, among others, to further educate the farmers to increase their yields. So we move into some political stories. Speaker hails Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. Mr. Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbin, the Speaker of Parliament, has hailed the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament for its tremendous efforts in the fight against corruption in the country. He said without exaggeration, the PAC could be viewed as the nerve center of the accountability and oversight functions of Parliament, saying its relevance and significance cannot be overstated. He said one of the major areas where there had been great progress was the institutionalization of the public hearings of the Auditor's General Report to the PAC. The PAC is arguably one of the most important committees of Parliament, Speaker Bagbin stated in his presentation at the third eminent guest lecture at the University of Professional Studies in Accra. Speaking on the topic, the future of Parliament in Ghana's democratic governance, Speaker Bagbin said over the years the tradition of the PAC had been adopted by most parliaments because of its singular attribute as an important watchdog committee, the apex of accountability, with oversight over the executive spending. So Kennedy Agyapong is saying his absence from Parliament was inadvertent due to ill health. Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, Member of Parliament's MP for Asin Central, says his absence from Parliament was inadvertent due to ill health. Mr. Agyapong said this on Wednesday when he appeared before the Privileges Committee to answer questions on why he was absent from the House for more than the stipulated 15 sitting days during the first meeting of the second session of the 8th Parliament. Mr. Agyapong is one of the 3 MPs Mr. Alvin Sumana Kingsford Blackburn, Speaker of Parliament, under Article 97 of page 1C of the 1992 Constitution, referred to the Privileges Committee over the issue of absence without prior pension in writing. So we now move into some international stories. Hate crime charges for Buffalo shooting, suspected outline chilling details. So the U.S. Justice Department on Wednesday filed federal hate crime charges against a white supremacist accused of killing 10 black people in Buffalo, New York last month, saying he was driven by a desire to prevent black people from replacing white people. Peyton Gendron faces 26 counts of hate crimes and firearms offenses according to the charges. The complaint contains chilling details about the May 14th shooting, including a moment when Gendron turned to a white male victim who had been shot in the leg and said, "Sorry," before moving on. So according to a sworn statement filed by an FBI agent, we will be relentless in our effort to combat hate crimes and support communities terrorized by them, and to hold accountable those who perpetrate them, said Attorney General Merrick Garland, who traveled to the site of the shooting on Wednesday and met with victims' families. So Gendron 18 could potentially face the death penalty if found guilty. So Garland declined to say whether it could be shot if Gendron is convicted. So Gendron already faces the possibility of life in prison without parole on 25 New York State charges, including first and second degree murder and domestic terrorism motivation by hate. He has pleaded not guilty. So moving to our next international story, Iran authorities seize vessel carrying smuggled fuel. Iranian authorities have seized a vessel carrying 90,000 liters of smuggled fuel in the waters around Kish Island in the Gulf. Iranian state news agency IRNA reported on Thursday the captain and 5 other crew members were issued with criminal warrants and have been detained, IRNA added. So Iran, which has some of the world's cheapest fuel prices due to heavy subsidies and the fall of its currency, has been fighting rampant fuel smuggling by land to neighboring states and by sea to Gulf Arab countries. Moving to some entertainment story, Jonas reveals his feelings on expecting second child with wife Sophie Turner. Jonas shared how excited he feels about expecting his second baby with wife Sophie. In an interview with People magazine, the Jonas Brothers band member expressed his feelings on his growing family. "You really don't know what to expect. I think I'm maybe a little less nervous, but I'm just excited," Joe told the outlet. So the Gotta Find You singer added, "It's such an amazing part of life." Turner confirmed the news of her pregnancy last month after sparking rumors in April when she flashed her bare tummy in a crop top on an outing with Hobby. "It's been amazing to be a dad and to learn every day more about yourself and what's that like," Joe further shared with the publication. So the singer, who recently moved to Miami with his fan, continued, "We're living in a new city and it's a very exciting time. I'm very much looking forward to the future on all things." So previously, Turner had said in an interview with LUK, "We are so excited to be expanding the family. It's the best blessing ever. It's what life is about for me, raising the next generation," she revealed. So this is where I'll end the afternoon news radio on Ghana Talk Show Radio, and I go by the name Regina Bliss. So stay tuned for the lunchtime reading radio on Ghana Talk Show Radio.